Ladies and gentlemen, here I am backstage, Hex Fight Series 27. And I'm here, Melbourne Pavilion, with UFC fighter Jack Jenkins. Mate, you fought on the Hex scene. Does it feel like coming back home from college?
I suppose a little bit. I walk in the venue and the smell and the area in Kensington here, I still get sweaty palms and stuff when I walk in the venue, even though it's got nothing to do with me fighting anymore. But no, it's good to see the Hex back in a big way, because it kind of went quiet there for a bit, but they always dominated the Melbourne scene, and now they're back doing great stuff. So look, you got these reporters here like yourself and others doing work, so it's great for the local guys. And you can see on this card there's probably genuinely 6 guys who are, I think probably a UFC caliber, and some of them are even fighting each other tonight. So huge card, and looking forward to watching the rest of the show.
Well, Absolute MMA has almost been hoarding really talented featherweights. Has it been tricky to sort of navigate not fighting each other whilst all trying to get to the top?
No, not necessarily. We, when we started, there wasn't that many of us, and we kind of made the decision that we would try and take people in and make people feel welcome based on culture and based on whether they fit the team well, rather than trying to get people who are super talented. And then as talented guys have come, they enjoy that culture and they enjoy the vibe we have, and people stick around because of that. And we're stacked with featherweights, but you can see we get better because we've got those rounds. I was a bit light on partners for the last 2 weeks because the boys were getting ready for these, so I've had to get some of the younger guys to step up and help out, but they've all been really good.
Now, mate, each UFC fight, you get higher up, you get more well-known. I mean, before we had this interview, you had to take a minute to take a photo with someone. You were driving a Ferrari yesterday. How has life changed over the last year or two?
Look, it definitely is different in a lot of aspects, but I feel like for me the most important ones are all the same. So I still spend the same amount of time with my family, the same amount of time with my partner. I still am very much subservient to my coaches, Andy and Simon. That's really important for me, that I have a relationship with them where we're not equals. I'm very much underneath them, and I let them push me out of my comfort zone, and I don't fight back if they want me to do something. We have a very collaborative approach, but I'm very much still in the gym and in my family life and with my friends and all that, just the same guy and the same kid from back of Smash. So I'm just going to keep running with that, and you get to drive around in a Ferrari every now and then and do some fun shit, but none of it's that's all a bit superfluous. It's nothing like just getting in the gym and working. Does
it help with your ability to coach that you don't have to watch the rankings in Australia for your next fight? Like, you can be at Hex and just fully focus on coaching?
No, I'm a bit of I'm obsessive with that. So before I got in the UFC, I could tell you the #1 ranked featherweight in nearly every region in the world. I could go to who's the best in Ireland, who's the best in the UK, who's the best in Europe West, all that sort of stuff, who's the best in Korea. So now it's easier, but I like to look down. It's easy to look up at guys like Alex or Taporia, guys like that, and go, I want to chase them and get after them. I find it easier to get motivated to look underneath and look at the guys coming up and go, holy fuck, these guys are working their ass off. They're still on that grind that I was on, and I know that. So it's good to look down at them and go, fuck, I better get my ass into here because I know these guys are coming and they want the spots that we have. So you just got to keep winning fights.
Well, speaking of the spots that people want, you picked up a very exclusive UFC 293 spot. All of Australia wanted that fight. How honoured are you that the company really went out of their way to make sure you're on that card?
Yeah, not only that, they went out of their way because they told me, can you wait to do 293? And I said, I don't want to wait. I want to fight in America in June. And they were like, look, we'd prefer you to wait. And we kind of had a conversation with Sean where we said, we really want to fight. Please get us a fight. And he came through and got us like a sort of 5-week notice fight, which was Jacksonville. And then I felt like I kind of owed it to them as well. And I wanted to. So the day after the fight, I messaged Sean. I said, Sean, I'm good to go. Let's book this 293 fight. And we booked it like 3 days after my fight in Jacksonville. So to have the long lead in and be able to come and get a full camp has been great.
And how important is it to have a dominant display after the very, very close fight that you had in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I've made no qualms about the fact that I've got to go out there and show up for this one and be really dominant. And I'm going to take more risks. I'm going to to, put it on the line and go for it, because I didn't renegotiate my contract, and I probably could have, but I didn't want to throw all my chips in when I've just got to the table. So I wanted to get a little bit more bargaining power for my next contract, and that's a big risk on my part, because you never know what's going to happen. But I believe in my ability, and I think this is a great fight. So we'll renegotiate after this one, and hopefully it'll be a big win.
Are you on your last fight?
No, I got 2 fights to go, but most people will renegotiate after 2 to get off that base contract. But I didn't want to get the slight bump. I want to get the bump.
Well, speaking of the bump, what are you going to do in Sydney to make sure you get the bump? How is this fight going?
Well, stylistically, first of all, compared to Freddie, Don, and Jamal, this is a much better fight to be able to show my skill set. Jamal was so tricky, and I think, not to touch wood on things, but I think Jamal and I are probably going to meet again somewhere in the top 10. I think he's really good. And then, Don, that was the first one, and he was a wrestler, so I had to play it a certain way. Freddie, the brawler. So this one, I got a guy about my height, about a similar reach, probably a little slower than me, but tough as fuck, and will stand in front of me. So I'll be able to get my good shit off. I'll be able to get into my rhythm. And once, you guys have seen me get into that rhythm a couple of times in fights, like the Costa fight and the Medina fight and that sort of stuff. And once I'm in there, I'm hard to stop.
Will you predict a broken leg?
No, I'm not going to kick much, to be honest. It's going to be mostly hands. I'm going to lots of body work, lots of left kicks more than the right kicks, and I think I'm going to catch him leaning. I think I'm going to catch him rushing in, to be honest, because he gets hungry and he loves to fire himself up, and I think I'm just going to squat down on something and pop him.
Well, Jack Jenkins, thank you for joining us. Best of luck for UFC Sydney, and enjoy the Ferrari.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.